Yo, where did my coins go? These mother... Hey guys, Nightfall here, and it's a dog-eat-dog world out here. You give, and they take. XDebrief gave us patch notes, and in return, we all had to pay the tax with our X coins. I'm joking. Come on, this isn't ran by EA or something. No, apparently there was a small hiccup that was quickly rectified with the Amazon servers they use, which I'm kind of glad this happened later in the day because we use AWS a lot at work, and if that's down, everyone's going to be running around frantically trying to figure out what to do. But anyway, if you noticed your coins were missing at any point last night, go back in, double check, they should be back. If not, probably reach out to Ubisoft support and hopefully they can help. Yesterday they gave us patch notes. I put out my video on that and then they hit us with the XDebrief that I want to cover here because there's a few interesting topics to discuss. The entire XDebrief was about 15 minutes long, and if you want to watch that video, I'll link it in the description of this one. But this is just going to be more breaking it down and talking about it. This may end up being longer than the original debrief and maybe even my longest video yet. For starters, I don't want to nitpick, but I'm gonna nitpick.
Here with your Season 1 mid-season update.
He just called this a mid-season update. Buddy, we aren't even a full month in. I know it feels like it with all these issues that we've had, but get it together. That's probably the last piece of really nitpicking because the rest of this is pretty solid, and I know a lot of times I give some crap to Aches and Mark for some of the stuff they say, but maybe this is a sign they're starting to understand what we've really been asking for: accountability. Let's take a listen.
We realized the state at which ranked launch in Season 1 was unacceptable to our standards, and we failed to meet your expectations as players. There were bugs that slipped through, some things we didn't see until we were live, and a handful of features we knew we wanted but failed to get out by launch. We appreciate the passionate feedback we've received across the board, and our goal is to earn your trust back so that all you need to worry about is going after those wins. And we feel that tomorrow is a great time to try ranked again.
Right off the bat, let's get one thing I disagree with out of the way so then I can glaze them a bit. Tomorrow is not a great time to try ranked again because nothing is really changing to make people want to come back, plain and simple. I'm not going to repeat everything he just said because, well, you just heard it straight from the horse's mouth. So some key things I want to point out is failed expectations, earn your trust back, and passionate feedback. They're finally owning up that ranked was a dumpster fire at launch. We knew it, they knew it. They're finally just now coming to terms with it. But this is really all I wanted for them to do, is to admit that to us and then tell us how they were going to fix it. To me, at least, in situations like these, ownership and accountability go a long way. And I'm sure this meant a lot to the community as well. They understand that trust has been broken and it's going to take a lot to build that back up. And then the passionate feedback. Don't get this twisted. He's talking about all you Twitter monsters out there who light up that damn feed like it's a Christmas tree, complaining about everything. I don't get a free pass. I'm guilty of it here a little bit, but I think they're now starting to understand that all of that is just passion for a game that we love and want to be better. Not because we're just hating on the game and want to talk crap. I can rant on and on about all the issues in this game, but I still end up playing it at the end of the day because it's fun and I enjoy it. Admittedly, lately it has gotten a little boring, but maybe this new patch and the new map that we should get will shake it up a bit. So they start to talk about things in rank that they fixed already, which we've covered numerous times on this channel. And they also talk about things that will be fixed tomorrow, which I talked about in my video from yesterday from the patch notes. The one question I had when reading the patch notes that was left unanswered is, will players who leave a ranked game after the lobby is created but before the match begins face any sort of penalty? And that question came up because they said that they'll now cancel matches if anyone leaves or is removed before the game begins. And the answer to that question is yes, the person will get full penalties of leaving. So now that we got that answered, let's talk about some things coming shortly after the Season 1.3 update. Shortly to me means in the next update, which should be next week, I hope. So let's hope they chose their words carefully this one, and shortly after this update doesn't mean 4 weeks from now. But the first thing they talked about was ping limiting, meaning ranked players should never have a ping of 125 or higher, which sounds good in theory, but how will this work in practice? The idea behind this is to avoid players being placed in servers they don't belong in, but I would think this would also increase matchmaking time for some people. Then they say that basically they'll try harder to match you based on input, which in ranked is no guarantee. And at this point, why not just let us choose the option for input-based matchmaking the same way we do in unranked? I just don't understand the hesitance there. Then this next part, I'm not a huge fan of. They increased the ranked range from 15 levels to 30, meaning now you can play with your friends who are higher or lower level than you up to 30 different ranks. But this also means now your chances of running into stiffer competition goes up. So now the lowest bronze 1 can basically play with anyone up to ruby 10 or 9, if I did the math correct on that. And that's kind of not good, but I guess we won't know until we try it out. But this is what you guys have been telling me since I said ranked is a form of skill-based matchmaking in my previous videos, right? Rank doesn't equal skill, so everyone should just be peachy with this. Then they talked about what else can we expect in season 1, which is still 2 months long, believe it or not. And the first thing mentioned here is the faction limit. So while we still don't have a firm date on when this will go live, we do know that it'll be sometime in the next 2 months. And honestly, ranked is just unplayable in its current state, and this is the only fix. Well, this and the next thing, more quitting penalties. So at some point, they'll introduce progressive ban times from matchmaking and more RP loss for those who quit out frequently. Huge W's, and for those who say this should have been in from the start, he did give a pretty solid answer as to why it wasn't, and that's because they wanted to make sure they weren't penalizing people who are being disconnected of no fault of their own, which is fair, and I'd really be interested in hearing how this works because other games just straight up don't give a damn. Your power goes out for a second, tough tits, Buttercup. So glad to hear they're considering these things and looking at it from all angles. They also addressed the super slow ranked progression and said they'll be increasing the amount per win at some point in season 1. So that's a good thing, but I just really think the main reason that people aren't hitting higher ranks as fast as they want is the lack of players in ranked, and therefore the lack of those eligible for the higher ranked matchmaking. They need to entice more people to get back into ranked before they do anything else. And then the one thing that they were very vague on was the whole issue with party average RP and matchmaking, and all they said was it's not working as intended and it'll be fixed. Well, this could also explain the very lopsided games if higher skill players were getting into lower rank lobbies. I guess vague is good because they don't want more people to abuse that, so I'll let it slide this time. And then we get a small glimpse into the future of what's coming in season 2. Top 500 leaderboard and ranked loadouts. They made it clear that all weapons and attachments will be available to everyone, but you won't gain weapon XP on weapons you haven't unlocked yet. Then they said this will also give them the ability to restrict certain things from loadouts if needed, and that while they aren't ready to do so just yet, they are keeping an eye on it. And this is something that I can't get on board with. Never in my life have I seen a weapon or attachment or something in a game locked out of a ranked mode because it's overpowered. This is something that happens in like a pro league setting where they just all agree that you can't use this certain weapon or this certain attachment. And this is where I think Ake's background is going to cloud his judgment for future ranked decisions. And for him to say ranked is for everyone, I'm not buying it. This tells me their mindset is to keep ranked at the highest competitive level possible, which is going to discourage so many players from this game mode. They need to remember and stay grounded that this is just in-game ranked mode and not an esports tournament. I really hope they don't start making changes like that, just out of sheer integrity for the rest of the game. But also coming in season 2 is ranked rejoin, meaning if you leave the game or accidentally get kicked out, you can join back. And this is the one I'll give them the most flack for. There's no reason this isn't a feature from the start. Totally unacceptable that it's even taking them this long to get it added. If this game was out in prime siege days, you'd have someone hitting legend in a day. All they would need to do is DDoS 2 of the enemy team and just go to town. Thankfully, the days of the DDoSing craze kind of died down for the most part, but I'm just saying. And sure, ranked was pushed to us 7 days early, but we're beyond that point now and the excuses need to stop. This is something that for sure should have been launched with ranked. But enough complaining, let's take an early sneak peek at the new escort and zone control map, Daytona. If there's one thing I love as much as gaming, it's cars. And while I never really got into the crew or super into other games like Forza, I have played them occasionally and they're sort of fun, but personally, I enjoy the real thing over a game when it comes to cars. So I'm really excited to see this map, and it already looks stunning from what I've seen. You can see the damn escort package has a whole ass engine with a supercharger on it. That is so freaking cool. And this scene right here, I'll pause it at, because when I saw this, I had one of the coolest or cheesiest ideas ever. You let me know in the comments. Everyone says this game is stale and boring. Well, let's say for example, next season's faction, or any season for that matter, is Assassin's Creed. If they were to bring a ship from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and place it far off in the ocean, and then just tease it slowly getting closer every day, and then right before the day of the reveal, it just came ashore, sort of like an in-game event or something. I don't know. I thought it would be a cool idea to do something like that to tease future factions, but let's get back to the new map. And I'm not gonna lie, the first couple games, I'm definitely gonna be scoping out these cars and just die to whoever comes near me. But this map looks very linear and has little to no cover in a lot of the places where you escort the package. So I can't wait to try it out. And they also said some Easter eggs, I'm assuming from the Crew franchise, so we'll have to go hunting for them. All the more reason to give us customs, which got no mention other than at the very end where it was just kind of on screen. Here's my one single issue with this map, and it's not even with this map. When Season 1 launched, we were accidentally given Rockefeller for the first couple of hours, and we've yet to see it again. And now the new map is Daytona, which tells me the maps are ready and they're just spoon feeding them to us. I don't like that. I'm sure others are fine with it. Some people probably don't like it. I'm not a fan, just throwing that out there. Then they gave us the good old ask a question segment, and the first topic was rank changes. And instead of sifting through any questions that still apply after all the updates they already talked about, they just said, we already talked about ranked a bunch, so we threw your questions in the trash. And after this, if you still have questions, let us know. Not a great look, but I'm sure they had thousands of questions that would have been already answered by the patch notes and the updates they talked about in the rest of the debrief. So whatever. They did confirm more weapon attachments coming every season starting in Season 2. So let the speculation begin on what you think the new attachment's going to be for Season 2, and will it be broken from the start? And I don't mean broken as in will everybody be using it because it's so good broken. I mean broken like most of the other attachments we already have in the game broken. Guess I should probably double down on the attachment quality check videos before they start throwing more at us. Then there was a question about changing the HUD. Never really think about this because it kind of just is what it is for me, and growing up playing video games, this was never really an option to begin with, so I've kind of just learned to roll with it. But some people want to go full-on immersive mode, so I wouldn't mind if they actually brought this into the game so I could try it out. But then the question of how do weapons get buffed and or nerfed had me kind of rolling, because I just had this conversation with some of you in the comments earlier about the devs only buff the weapons they need to level up to Prisma that month, which of course is a joke, probably. But basically, their answer was they look at everyone's yapping on social media to see what we collectively hate and then make changes based on that. And here they talk about how they already banned over 12,000 cheaters, which is weird because that's the same number they gave us 2 weeks ago in this tweet. So have you just not banned any new cheaters since then? Or you just don't have a fancy new number to flaunt to us? Or is it now 24,000 cheaters, but it was just the same 12,000 cheaters that made new accounts and you banned those again? You know what I want? A wall of shame. Forget your top 500 leaderboards. Give us a daily list of cheaters banned the day before, like an in-game newsletter. That'll stop some people. Then they addressed 24/7 map playlists for the new maps that get launched, and they basically used the recent one for Clubhouse as a test run, and then accidentally spoiled the release date of the new map Daytona. Check it out here.
So in the future, starting on August 2nd with Daytona, you will have a 24/7 playlist for any time a new map is launched.
August 2nd, this Friday, which is a few days sooner than I expected it to be. I thought it would be on the following Tuesday, which would have been August 6th, but at least now we get it in time for the weekend. So now that actually makes me kind of wonder, are we going to get a new patch on Friday with the release of that map? Or will we get a new patch next week? Or is it going to be 2 weeks from now like it was before? But then they rounded it out with stuff still in development, and let me give you a few of my opinions on these. Prestige mode, need it, want it, when's it coming? Weapon mastery, same thing. Keyboard and mouse on console. Not sure if they rent a room from Patrick Starr, but all of the people who want to use keyboard and mouse on console already have a Zim. And when you finally give them native support, they're not just going to toss their Zim to the side. They already have scripts, macros, and settings dialed in. This, in my opinion, is a waste of developer resources to work on this right now. And private matches, please. This is something we've been begging for so long. But also, in the same breath, don't rush it because I don't want it to be broken. And lastly, kill cams, which you guys probably shouldn't release that soon because you're just going to have more people tweeting you about the netcode and the hit reg, though I would like it to help better identify who's cheating, but realistically should probably fix the netcode first before you give that to everybody. And that about wraps it up. You know what you need to do? Like, comment, subscribe, and if I didn't give you enough fodder to come at me sideways in the comment section of this one, try this one on for size. I think they should really consider making a battle royale mode for this game. Could call it X Zone or something. Anyway, I'll catch you in the comments of this one and in the next upload. Let's talk about some things that choking. Fuck. Let's talk about some things. Let's talk about some things. Fucking Mike Tyson. Because other fuck am I choking on? So we'll have to go. We'll have to go.